Hey, what's up, y'all? All right, we're going to take a ride on what we've done so far, and then I want to get your opinion. Or actually, we're going to make some changes to what I've done so far, and then I want to get your opinion on the project so far. So let's ride through this, and then I'll be right back. All right, so that's as far as we got in the last video, and then I went ahead and started on the second half of it, but I really didn't like what I had done, so I'm going to delete it all here, and then I'm going to work through the rest of the layout in this video. But one thing that I wanted to do first off was riding through that after I tried it several times. I felt like some of the transitions and turns and so forth were just too abrupt, and the word that was really coming to mind for me was staccato, in that each time it was like turn, like turn, pause, turn, pause, turn, pause, and I didn't like that feeling. I wanted it to be a little more, have a little more flow to it. So the first thing I'm doing in the video is just sort of editing everything, trying to smooth it out a little bit and make it look a little bit better. So this is what happens once I get all this done, which, by the way, for those of you who are just learning FVD, it's hard to do this kind of thing. It's not hard, but it's really hard to change elements back at the beginning of the ride once you've already constructed it, because it affects everything after it. And you can see what's happening here, that things are getting all twisted around later on in the ride. But if you practice a little bit, it's not that hard to go back and fix it, and then just fix everything along the way. The only thing that is that when you do start making changes here, you have to go and change everything else throughout the entire ride, and you'll see that it takes me a while to get back to where I basically was, but I just wanted to smooth all this out. So, all right, so after, like I showed you a minute ago, I had gone ahead and done the second half of the ride, and I liked the overall idea of what I'd done with it, but I just didn't like the way it was coming out. So the new second half that I come up with in this video, I like better. But I went ahead and finished it, which is not shown in this video, and imported it into NoLimits 2, and I've been riding it on and off, and I'm not certain how much I like it. So I know a few of you are watching this, so just let me know in the comments what you think of it so far. If you think I should go in a different direction, if you think I should start over, if you like it how it is. I mean, certainly it's going to look a lot better once it's in a final version with the landscaping and the cliffs and all the kind of the things that I want to add to it. But my philosophy is it needs to be a good coaster first and foremost before the landscaping and all that's just icing on the cake. So I want it to be a good ride to start off with. So I think one of the problems I have with it is a lot of these airtime hills seem very smooth, which is good, but in their sustained airtime, most of them are around -0.5. But it's not very, I guess, because some of them are on the bigger side because of the height and the speed, so it's just not very compelling to watch on the screen. I think it would be much better in person to ride because of the airtime, but yeah, I'm just not 100% sold on this layout. Even after I made these changes to it and I finish up what I did here, I'm not 100% sold on it. I'm feeling it more than I was at first, but I'm still not feeling it 100%. Like my last project, Something Wicked, I really liked that layout from start to finish. I thought I did a good job, and it's kind of tough to make them all winners, I guess, but I definitely like your feedback. For the few of you who are watching this or who have already commented and given your thoughts, I would definitely like to hear what you think about this, and if you think I should try something else. But if you do, just keep in mind that parts of this ride are going to be on a cliff, so that's why it's kind of in the air somewhat and so forth. So just keep that in mind. But let me know how the overall ride flows to you, whether you think it's interesting or whether you think I should go in a different direction. All right, so with all that being said, excuse me, just had sprayed and I had to belch. With all that being said, so I just went ahead and made some changes here. Like I said, tried to smooth out some of the transitions, not make them so abrupt, because it was feeling very intimate-ish to me. And like I said in plenty of videos, I'm not 100% trying to do B&M, but it just looked a little weird to me. It looked a little too mechanical or something. So but once we get this out, we're going to work on the second half of the ride, and what comes after this big drop, which is still, I think, about 226 feet. What comes after this is an airtime hill, an overbank turn, and a turnaround, and then a couple more hops back up into the station. So while it does seem like it's a relatively short ride, even when I finish it, and when you ride it, it seems like it is too. I mean, it's a huge ride, but because of its location on the cliff and so forth, it's a little shorter than it normally would be. But I personally like short rides if they have a start, a middle, and an end. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I actually find short rides better just because they're over quick, and a lot of stuff, if they're good rides, something like Skyrush, say, a lot happens in a very short amount of time, and there's a very defined beginning, middle, and end. I like that. Sometimes rides go on just too long. And actually that's one of the things that I think about. I know everyone is all just frothing at the mouth, chomping at the bit for Steel Vengeance. And in my mind, first of all, I hated Mean Streak so much that I'm not looking forward to Steel Vengeance. I'm going to go ride it. I'm sure it'll be a good ride, but I just really disliked Mean Streak because of the fact that the first time I rode it, I waited in line for it for 3 hours. It was hot as hell, and I could just tell it was not going to be a good ride, and it was even worse than I expected it to be. So that's always been a ride that I just hated. So I'm not that excited about Steel Vengeance. But one of the things I noticed about the RMC conversion is RMC does a lot with their rides. Obviously, there's always something going on. And I'm going to interrupt myself here for just a second in the middle of the story and show you this little technique I use sometimes. You can see how I have I'm using a quartic function going down to about negative 0.5, and then I use I was using a cubic function to go down negative 0.5. Then I used a quartic function over the top of the hill and made it go down even more, so the airtime ejects you even more as you go over top of the hill. I think that'd be pretty cool. To get back to Steel Vengeance, RMC does a lot in their rides. I mean, having ridden Wicked Cyclone, Twisted Timbers, the shorter ones, there's a lot going on in those rides. You're getting thrown around quite a bit. So just personally feel that it is quite possible that that's just too much for a ride of Steel Vengeance's length. But I could be wrong. I haven't ridden it. No one's ridden it yet. So we'll see. I'll ride it at the end of May. We'll see what I think about it. I'm not personally thinking it's going to be one of my favorites. But you never know. RMC does make a good ride. They make really fun rides. So if they can turn Mean Streak into something that I actually like, I'll be really surprised, because I just have such bad memories of that ride that I'll be really surprised. I have to say that much. All right, so to get back on topic here, I'm way off on topic, on a tangent. We are now doing the overbank turn, which for some reason I always have trouble doing these in FVD, and it's really not that difficult. You can do them with what do you call it? The double bunk. You can use a quintic function, if I remember correctly, and then you can do a double bump. And they're pretty easy to do, and I've seen people do that with a Stengel dive as well. For some reason, I don't like the way that rides. It's just a little bit weird to me, so I do it a little bit differently. I tend to use mostly just quartic and cubic functions anyway, so I need to start working on getting improving my skills in FVD, I think I need to start working on using different function types, because I've certainly made hills and so forth using quadratic functions, and they work well. They're just a pain in the ass to make, so I tend to take the easy route, and this to me looks pretty good, pretty decent. And my what I'm thinking of happening right here is that it's going around the side of the edge of a cliff or something. So now we're going to go up into the turnaround, and I'm being not that creative. I like Fury 325. I love the turnaround on that ride. I mean, anyone who's ridden it really likes it. So I do something similar to that. In this, I just go the opposite direction. It rises up into the overbank and then spirals down, which you'll see in a minute. And I kind of made the track coming out of that, instead of it just kind of swoops around a little bit. You'll see in just a few minutes, because with this theme, or with this the name of the ride, the Siren song, I wanted to give it a sort of a I guess sea serpentish feel as well, although I don't believe the sirens were technically sea serpents. It's going to be set near the ocean and so forth, so I think it blends in well with the overall look of it. So actually, let's just get started doing that. Come on, go ahead, make the overbank. And this is really easy to do, by the way, in FVD. All you really have to do, or even to make a wave turn, I've never actually made a wave turn, but it's got to be very similar to this, and very simple. You just make a airtime hill, and I think I took this down to about -0.2, and then start the banking. Just roll all the way to the top of the hill to about 90 degrees. It depends on how long the actual piece is that you're using, and once you get to the top, you can look and see. So you can see right there, when I was up there just a minute ago, it's about 90 degrees, and I'll get it closer to 90 degrees in a second. So you get it up to the negative point, and then you increase the G's, the normal G-force, and it just pretty much creates it for you. That's the nice thing about FVD. You can do stuff like this and make it very smooth and make it very realistic. Now, obviously, I'm not an expert at this. I'm not trying to act like I know FVD inside and out. There are people who have put videos on YouTube using FVD that know a lot more about it than I do, and know how to use it really to its fullest extent. But and they'll take hours to make an element like this. And again, I've said this over and over and over, I just don't have the patience for it. It looks good to me. It rides fairly well. You get the idea. I'm not trying to like make something that's going to be actually put in a park here. So it's just a game. It's just something I want to do when I'm relaxing. So so you will see here. Actually, I probably should have trimmed up this video a little bit for you, because it took quite some time to do all this. And then on top of it, I'm asking you if I should change it. So I am actually looking forward to hearing comments from you all. I hope some of you will comment on that, because I do want some feedback about this. I guess I'll go ahead and put a POV at the end of the video of what I actually came up with, because I actually came back and changed this a little bit as well, because it wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be. So at the end of the video, I'll go ahead and put a POV of the entire ride so far, because I got it all hooked up to the station. I got 2 trains on it. It's running fine. So I'll go ahead and put a POV at the end of the ride. So you let me know what you think of it. You can go ahead and skip there if you want. Just in the comments, let me know what you think, because I want some feedback. So for now, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking and just let you watch the rest of it. So about 6 more minutes to go, and then you will see the POV again at the end with what we've come up with so far. If a lot of people tell me they like it, cool. I will go with it. I'll keep maybe riding it for about another week or so, just to see what I think of it, or if I think I can change it better. And then I'll start working on the terraforming, the terrain, the landscaping, and so forth. And again, I'm going with a Greek Isle theme with this, and the sea and shipwrecks and yada yada yada. So we'll see how it turns out. All right, so that's it. Until the next time, my next video, I think I'm actually going to be doing something. Either I went to Six Flags America the other day, so I might do a review of some coasters there, or the park itself. We'll see. I also have an idea for a ride skin that I want to do on Planet Coaster, so I'll probably, the next video will be one of those two things before we move on to the next episode in this series. So until then, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you next time. Enjoy the ride.